Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is April 16th, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, with high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty well, feeling pretty good. Let's see, haven't been doing too much, just been kind of hanging out this weekend. So, as for this lazy Sunday, I did do some grocery shopping. That went pretty well. I also got some breakfast, but I will get to that. Last night's food, I had Domino's, went ahead and treated myself. Got an Italian sausage pizza, then a build your own hoagie, which had the steak patty on it, pepperoni, pineapple, green olives, and pizza sauce. Yeah, it's pretty yummy. I enjoyed it. And then also I had Parmesan bites, which were also pretty good. But then breakfast. Didn't enjoy this breakfast too much. I went to McDonald's and instead of getting like a classic order, I got hotcakes, which were fine. Hotcakes are usually what I like to get. It's not odd or new for me to get that. But I decided I wanted to get the breakfast burritos. I don't know. I was just feeling it for no reason at all. So I got a couple of those, and I'm just not an egg guy. And every once in a while, I'll eat an egg thing, and I'll be like, okay, that was actually pretty good. Sometimes I am sleeping on eggs, but not this time. It wasn't yummy. It was fine. Obviously, I ate it, but I got that and then some hash. I ate hash brown, not some hash browns, and a large Coke. So overall, not too crazy of a breakfast, but I definitely did one of those things where you just kind of like ruin your appetite for like half the day or whatever. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna eat now from here. But let's see. Enough of my little baby problems. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get into some news from NBC News. Biden's drug czar declares fentanyl laced with animal tranquilizer an emerging threat facing the U.S. So, yeah, following kind of on the drug beat here. Also, I didn't know that we had a drug czar. We just make czars for like everything. But let's see. President Joe Biden's drug czar on Wednesday declared that fentanyl mixed with Xylazine, an animal tranquilizer known as Tranq, has been linked to a rising number of overdose deaths across the U.S. Represents an emerging threat facing the nation. The declaration from Dr. Rahul Gupta, the director of the Office of Drug Control Policy, requires the Biden administration to develop a federal plan to address this crisis. The government must now publish a response plan within 90 days and send implementation guidance to agencies within 120 days, among other steps. So this drug's definitely pretty fucking nasty. It's also something that is more or less being like the way it winds up happening is people get this xylazine and they will lace it with fentanyl, which is just crazy now that like we went from heroin laced with fentanyl to then just base fentanyl pretty much. And now we are moving into xylazine lace. Like it's just like this is like an evolution of a drug over time. And definitely this shit is nasty. It's really nasty effects. It can like lead to like rotting skin. It kind of reminds me of the, I'm not sure if we covered it, but like the crocodile drug. If you ever get a chance to look that up, if you got a strong stomach, but very nasty. Also, I believe that the way that xylazine is composed, you can't necessarily treat it the same way you would with like an Narcan kind of thing to help with an overdose. So that's also another added factor that needs to be considered. But yeah, just really fucking nasty shit. I will say though, I find it fascinating. I'll read some of the side effects too, but I find it fascinating though, just the science behind drugs, the evolution of drugs. Obviously, I know that they are bad and they can do very devastating things, but some drugs can do really cool things. And also, this drug in and of itself is supposed to be a very useful, like veterinary tool, and it was approved by the FDA in the 1972 for the use of horses, cows, and sheep and other non-human mammals as a sedative and pain reliever. But in today's hands, mixed with the wrong things, it does a lot. Bad shit. But xylazine is not approved for human use, and ingesting it can cause serious life-threatening effects. People who ingest it can develop flesh wounds, including blackened, rotting tissue known as necrosis. If untreated, those injuries may result in amputation. So, all of this to kind of more or less just knock yourself out and just be in a stupor. No, thank you. But if there's any more developments on Tranq or any more drug stuff that happens, I'll probably be there to cover it. Let's see. In some other news, let's talk about New York. Actually, this is an update on our Rat Czar search from ABC News. New York City names its first ever Rat Czar. So they have found the person for the job. Kathleen Corrado has been named the city director for rodent mitigation. You'll be seeing a lot of me and a lot less rats, Corrado said Wednesday after she was introduced by Mayor Eric Adams. Adams added, Kathy has the knowledge, drive, experience, and energy to send rats packing and create a cleaner, more welcoming city for all New Yorkers. The mayor also announced $3.5 million for rat mitigation in Harlem. The money will fund new techniques and staff members to inspect, exterminate, and clean public spaces. He hates rats, I hate rats, every New Yorker hates rats, Corrado said. Rats are tough, but New Yorkers are tougher. Something I think I do kind of like about this now that I'm kind of hearing it, they do kind of go about her background. She used to be an elementary teacher, but she specialized in urban sustainability. Let's see. As a child, she used the campaign for anti-rat measures in her neighborhood, and she previously served as a garden coordinator at the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. But it seems like a lot of what she's going to try to implement and try is more or less a lot of cleanup, which is great. Obviously, rats thrive in really dirty, nasty areas. And I mean, in New York, a place full of people, and it's, really hard to kind of, maintain the garbage, maintain the litter. Rats can just thrive in these kind of situations. I mean, that being said, that's probably just going to be the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure there's going to be more than that. But I just like the idea of just like cleaning up the city being a big focus. I think that's at least a cool silver lining to this. Like a very nice quality control thing, human thing. Because I think that's something that we lend to it. Like the issue that are rats. And then we go like, oh, there's so many rats and we got to deal with them. And I don't know, maybe I do have some, animal lovers here. Totally understand that. Even specifically rat lovers. Hey, I get it. Awesome. The rats, the possums, the raccoons. Not my favorite animals per se, but they do have their champions, and you got to respect that. Hopefully, and that's the thing too. I hate to say it, like this is really a losing battle. I would be very surprised if, a year from now, maybe there will be a change. But if so, that'd be really interesting and a nice development. But yeah, it was a neat update, and we'll see if Corrado is up for the job. She's up to the task. She's the Pied Piper, if you will. Let's see. And some other news from Tribe Live. I believe it's like a Philly site publication thing. East Liberty man used Nerf-style gun in 2 shady side bank robberies, police say. So, on top of, you guys know, I love talking about drugs. I also love a good heist. That being said, this probably wasn't the best heist. This doesn't exactly go the best on both of these robberies, but I figured, hey, they're interesting, and I wanted to cover them. So, an East Liberty man and flip-flops used a blue and orange Nerf-style gun to rob 2 Shady Side banks in as many days before being arrested and confessing to the crimes. So the first, he goes into a PNC bank. Also, this is Rashawn Coleman, who's 29 years old. He goes into a PNC bank around 4:30. He has a plastic bag containing the gun, and I guess like that's enough to be like threatening enough. And he yells, "Give me $50,000." So he does not get that much money. The teller just empties out and gives out $904. And in the process of fleeing, he drops $12. So not much of a getaway really there. But then on Tuesday, Coleman entered the First National Bank, also on like the same street, and demanded cash. He winds up getting about $6,344 there, and he flees. Now, police wind up catching him pretty much in the exact same outfit. He's got like all the money in a little like plastic bag. Bands are still on it, and they know it's him. So he later confesses, says like, "Hey, I am, trying to get money for my family. They're having issues, yada, yada, yada." And he is actually, I think, let's see, yeah, court records show Coleman has been arrested at least 3 other times this year. He pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct in connection with a March 5th incident in Pittsburgh. He also was charged with harassment stemming from March 15th incident in Pittsburgh, and with a retail theft connection with a March 16 incident in Pittsburgh. So yeah, I mean, obviously crime, but sometimes I like covering crime, all right? Sometimes it's like covering an interesting little getaway, a little heist, even though obviously this guy didn't make it through. He got busted. But yeah, I mean, he apparently this man said it's Nerf for nothing, bitch. He ran it up. So he was on his Point Break shit. Didn't work out. But yeah. Let's see. From one heist to another. From WLWT5. Police estimated 2 million dimes stolen from truck in Philadelphia.
Home care plan. You'll have peace of mind.
A loud ad there. Don't worry about that. You're not sponsoring me, so I'm not even going to talk about you. Let's see. Police are investigating after someone broke into a trailer containing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of dimes in northeast Philadelphia. The discovery was made around 6 a.m. Tuesday in a Walmart parking lot in Byberry Road. Initially, it was thought that it was $100,000 worth of dimes stolen, but it turns out that it was up to $200,000 stolen from this truck, all dimes. So it doesn't look like this was like a planned thing. It looks like the driver collected the dimes and they were supposed to be then taking a long drive the next day. So they decided to park it there and, get some rest. Now, in the process of leaving it there overnight unattended, the robber, they seemingly broke in and took as many dimes as they could. And it looks like in the process, which you can see in the thumbnail, they left a ton just scattered in the parking lot. And I guess imagine just trying to do quick transfer as much as they could, and then they left. But it's kind of noted by people on scene or whatever. They're like, well, isn't there's Walmart, like there's cameras, like wasn't the person recorded? It's also said that the driver himself might be in trouble because of the fact that they left the truck unattended. They talk in this article to another driver and they're like, yeah, if I was in this situation, I would have left it in at a store, but in a drive. I wouldn't have left it unattended. That's a no usually. That's a no-go. So that's potentially an issue. Also, I'll keep you posted if I find out if they find the people or if there's gonna be any charges brought on the guy. But yeah, I mean, this is a getaway technically. You know what I mean? There's an aftermath here, so we'll see how that goes. All right, I got one more story to cover before I let you go. So I'm gonna take my classic break. Oh boy. All right. Whew. No screaming, no yelling, no phones. Florida teacher accused of organizing fights at a middle school. Now, I got the story from WSAZ3 news channel. I probably said that wrong or whatever, But this is takes place in Tallahassee, Florida. A woman identified as a teacher at Griffin Middle School in Tallahassee, Florida, is facing charges for contributing to the delinquency of a minor of what court documents call an alleged role in organized fights in her classroom. So this is a 23-year-old student or teacher, I'm sorry. And apparently the school resource deputy was notified on March 24th that students were being allowed to fight, which is crazy that there was literally a baby fight club just taking place at a school. Also, I looked this up too to try to find some more references, and I believe this is not the first time this has taken place. I didn't have an article ready or anything like that. I didn't do too much digging there, but at the same time, I'm not too surprised. I hate to say it, but in a lot of times when you're doing any kind of elementary school, I mean, I think these are sixth graders, but you're just doing daycare a lot of times. And a lot of the time, like, they're just wound up and I've had this conversation kind of growing up through the years. I don't know if it's because I watched like random ass old Paul Newman movies or whatever, or this is just some lizard brain thing. But the idea of having like a boxing match or like, some kind of organized fight where like you and another person, whether it be a student or a coworker or whatever, you guys had a beef, you guys could work it out. And it will be like once a week or whatever. You could just duke it out. You could just sort it out, just real proper. And then you get it out and you're done. And, obviously Fight Club, came through this in spades. Chuck Palahniuk just, knocked it out of the park. Now, that being said, as much as I think it's a vibe, and I'm not going to lie, this did make me giggle reading the story. Yeah, they tried this here. This experiment happened in real time, in real life. But according to the documents, several sixth grade girls told detectives that they participated in planned fights during school hours, and they alleged they were invited back for additional fights. They also reported that footmen made statements including 30 seconds, no screaming, no yelling, no phones. Apparently, though, people did not stick to that script because there is video of this shit, I believe. Now, Footman herself says that she did not organize the fights, but failed to call for help or take quick action to stop the altercations or report them to administrators, according to court documents. She now faces 4 counts of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. So yeah, that's no good. And I would definitely keep you posted if more, falls down the pipe. That being said, it's not that surprising to me that this has happened. Sadly, I will be in the break room, or you'll just hear like a random story on the midday evening news or whatever. And you'll just hear really shitty stories about teachers doing like either bad things to kids, or it's just one of those things where it's like a neglect situation can kind of happen. But I can also understand because, like I said, just bringing back to that daycare element, you're a burnout teacher. You're not making nearly enough money, You're on the ass end on the salary, and every day is a struggle for you. And you have to deal with these kids, and you snap. That being said, I'm not trying to excuse the behavior. Obviously, in any and all these situations, if you're like slamming a kid or you're letting a kid get slammed, whatever, that's bad. You gotta say, hey, maybe it's time to change professions. Because just like when I talk about cops, like, yes, it sucks Like, you're not getting paid enough to put your life on the line, but you are supposed to be doing the right thing for the people around you. As a teacher, there's no difference. In fact, you are specifically primarily focused on children, the future of our society or whatever the fuck. So I do think there's onus on, obviously doing the right fucking thing, looking out for kids, not letting them do a kid fight club. So yeah, tomato there. But yeah, man, that's fucking crazy. Like, I just couldn't imagine fighting for my life. Right before fucking school's out. How you explain this black eye? Like I got it in English class. I just couldn't. I couldn't dodge, Mom. Tammy just hit me. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say it. Like, fuck. So yeah, interesting shit. But that's all I got today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye bye. Mwah.